there? What you think?
Um, I mean, I can't tell these guys what they're worth or anything like that. If they feel like um they worth more money than what they are receiving in the contract, I can't argue that. My whole thing is a lot of guys from my understanding is things being said that the contract wasn't right, that it wasn't what he agreed to, so he pulled out to get more money. They was trying to give him a flat fee of $1 million, and Shakur was getting 6 million or something like that. So I'm not. I don't have all of the answers of what the actual contract stipulated, but that's what I'm hearing from a lot of different people. But my whole thing is you got to make sure you have all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted, because it doesn't look good when you come out and you said you agreed to the terms and y'all stop the first bid, and then when the contract is sent to you, you cancel the contract. If it's something that was in the contract that you didn't agree to, you need to for the ones that's out here painting him as a duck, you need to show, hey, look, this is not what I agreed to in the contract. They changed this and put this in the contract after I said I agreed. So it doesn't look good, but like I said, I don't have all of the answers. I'm just going by what I'm hearing.
I think the thing, the overwhelming thing is that we just heard Shakur talking all this cash money that, oh, if I had an opportunity like that, I would take it. And it's just, you know what? I just put like this. I wish we could stop getting these lying boxers, man. We get boxers that really get on the cameras and lie to you, man. You know, I don't understand that. We not getting no big fights. It's getting frustrating, man, because think about it, man. We got that Errol Spence Chance Crawford fight really way too late, man. We got that way too late. And to be honest with you, the Errol Spence I seen that night, I mean, a lot of guys can beat that Errol Spence that I seen. But the Errol Spence I seen before the car accident or the one that fought Sean Porter was a different story, man. What you think?
I don't know if we got the Earl Spence fight too late. I know people wanted it sooner than what we got it, but I don't know if we got it too late because um, those guys was still in their prime. Earl Spence is only 33 years old. What's going on, Knockout? What's going on, Just Do? Earl Spence is only 33 years old. Bud Crawford was only 35. I don't think we got it too late. I just believe that we wanted it sooner than what we got it. Same with the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. We wanted it sooner than when we got it. I don't know if it was too late. I mean, from the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, there was a whole lot of stipulations behind it. Manny Pacquiao didn't want to take the drug testing and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why we didn't get the fight. I think, like I said, like the live that I did months ago before we got the Earl Spence fight. It's the same game, different players. The same thing that happened with Earl Spence and I mean with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. It's the same thing that happened with Bud and Terrence Crawford. The common denominator was it was Bob Erm in between both those fights. And once they got away from Bob Erm, then we was able to get those fights.
You know, it's funny you say that because you think see I think about Bob Arum in such a good light because that was Ali's little brother. You know, helping Ali do his thing. And you know what's funny? People don't realize this, but that partnership with Herbert Muhammad and Bob Arum really did a lot for Ali and really helped him become the global superstar that we know him as. But that being said, I remember when Freddie Roach said at a council some years ago, sleeping my brother knockout
What's going on,
about
Ricky?
how why Manny Pacquiao didn't want that fight in '08. And you know what it is? We just gotta call it what it is. Manny Pacquiao was scared because if he would have, I'll tell you what, if he would have fought Floyd in '08, because I believe that around that time he fought Ricky Hatton instead. If he would have fought that Floyd might have knocked him out. I mean,
I think it would have been the same results either way.
yeah,
I never thought that Manny Pacquiao could beat Floyd Mayweather. The only difference was when Floyd was trying to make the fight, Manny Pacquiao was believed to be on the juice, and
hmm
rightfully so. We saw some things from Manny Pacquiao that we don't normally see in the sport of boxing. We don't normally see guys get faster and get stronger as they get older.
Hmm.
So I mean, and then Manny Pacquiao denied taking the drug test, saying he was scared of needles, but he had tattoos. So it was a whole lot of things to that. But like I said, I never thought that Manny Pacquiao would ever be able to beat Floyd. He just wasn't talented enough to beat Floyd.
You know, it's funny you say that, man. My brother Ricky said he ripped off Ali and he stole top rank from Ali. He actually stole top rank from Herbert Muhammad. But the thing I'm saying is this: Frank Martin can't get on the cameras and tell me all this tough guy stuff. Talking about what do you do in the ring, how he had Keyshawn shook. Keyshawn looked like he seen a ghost when he seen him. So for that, you get all that, but then you get the biggest fight of your life, and you give me all these excuses. I ain't duck nothing. I don't want nothing. Blah blah blah. But I guess that's just what it is in boxing. But let me ask you a real question, man. What you think about those tweets we got from Bud Crawford, man, saying, "I'll never give Keith Thurman Jr. a fight. I'll never fight Danny Garcia. Them guys is hoes. When they had a chance to fight me, they wanted to fight each other." What do you think about him saying that, man? I thought that was that's just something that make Bud look bad, man. What you think?
Um, I mean, the whole thing with Bud and Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia is Keith Thurman, he gave a offer of $10 million, and they said he outpriced himself. They never wanted to negotiate it with Keith Thurman. But when Danny Garcia, they offered Danny Garcia $3 million, and Danny Garcia said, "Well, I made 3.5 in my last fight. I should get more than 3.5 in this fight. Not to mention, I beat Amir Khan, who got paid more than you did when y'all fought." So it was different circumstances with those fights because they was willing to negotiate with Danny Garcia, but they wasn't trying to give Danny Garcia more than $3 million. But they wasn't willing to negotiate with Keith Thurman. They just said Keith Thurman outpriced himself. They never came back with a
Hmm.
counter offer with Keith Thurman. So he makes it look like they didn't want to fight him, but in all reality, they did want to fight him because they 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 pretty much was trying to negotiate with him, and he wasn't trying to negotiate with them. And then we hear Bob saying that he could fight Keith Thurman, he could fight Danny, he could fight Ugas, he could fight those guys, but Terrence Crawford didn't want it. And then uh uh uh, uh the to counter that, I mean to back that up was when Marty when manager Marty had Rick on his platform. Rick even said that Terrence Crawford turned down certain fights. So I mean, I don't think that those guys didn't want to fight him. I think Bud just wanted something that he wasn't they wasn't really trying to give him. He wanted way more money than they was getting.
I think it's funny you say that, and the good news. It's funny you brought that up. I actually got good news. I'm gonna let everybody know we're gonna be having Rick Glazer come to our show pretty soon, and he's gonna give us some insight on boxing, his matchups. Um, but I think it's funny because you really can't win with a guy like Bud. You just can't win with him. Whether you fight him, whether you don't fight him, it's an issue. Because for him to go at Danny Garcia like that was just a shock because I thought they was friends. I mean, you calling me all types of hoes and bees on the internet, and we supposed to be homeboys, man. That would be an issue. What you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I always say, if it's an easy fight and you can go and win that fight easily, why not go make easy money? I mean, you could have told Danny Garcia, okay, we're not gonna give you we're not gonna give you 3 million, we'll give you 4.5, and see if he would have take that offer. From what I understand, they never came with a counter offer. They
No,
just said
they didn't.
they just said Danny Garcia didn't negotiate, but they never came with a counter offer. Danny Garcia said, "I got 3.5 in my last fight. I could get more than three," and they never came with a counter offer. With Keith Thurman, they never came with a counter offer. So if if you believe that you can beat these guys easily, why not just go in there and beat them? That's my whole thing. And like my man Rick said, a couple of days. I think it was yesterday. He said it on Just Do channel. Some guys are just hard to negotiate with. It's just they just hard to negotiate with. So
Hmm.
you have fights that doesn't happen because guys just don't want to negotiate and they hard to deal with. So promoters tend to stay away from those individuals unless they have to deal with them.
I think it's funny because you heard Bob Arum say he could have built a house in Beverly Hills from scratch with all the money he lost with Bud, and it's like instead of Bud listening to his promoter, he just want to talk all this tough guy stuff. And it's like, bro, everybody know Bob Arum want to make the best fights if he can. So for you to kind of play it as if Bob Arum is trying to mess your career up or trying to slow you down, I just didn't understand that, man. I'm telling you, man. Bud is a little bit too erratic. I almost hate that he's champion, man, because a guy like that is so unpredictable, man. You don't
Yeah,
know what the f he's gonna do.
well,
Keeping it brother 100.
I don't know if Bob want to make the best fights. I know Bob want to make the biggest fights that's going to line his pockets. That's what Bob wants. I don't know if he want. I don't know if Bob really cares about making the best fights. I think he cares more about what fight is going to make him the most money.
Mm.
If there's a fight where he can play the fighters the least amount of money and he get the bigger bag from that fight, that's what he want to do, regardless if it's a big fight or not.
Yeah, but see, I just don't. Reason I have a hard time going with that, man, is because we seen what he did when he had the blue chip guys, man. When he had De La Hoya, when he had Floyd Mayweather Jr., he made some big tough fights, man. Like I don't know where he gets this
He
whole
didn't
rep of
he didn't make
why
the
he don't.
he didn't make the Floyd and Oscar De La Hoya fight.
No, no. What I'm talking about, he made the Till Gotti Floyd fight. He didn't have to make that fight. He didn't
Yeah,
have to
but
put his blue chip prospect.
that wasn't no big money fight.
What I'm saying, that's a fight that he didn't have to make. What I'm saying is I feel like because Bob trying to get that in-house money only, he kind of get a bad rep, is what I'm saying. I think Bob want to make some of those fights, just like he wanted to make that fight with Frank Martin. He didn't step in the way of that fight. I mean, I think honestly, to tell you the truth, and it's funny because Bob Arum is really nothing more now than a mascot. I mean, he's 90 years old. I doubt that he's running the day-to-day business. I believe his stepson's doing that. But it's just like the whole thing with this cat Crawford, man, is like this dude cuss out everybody but the promoter who told us that he's losing money with you. You have
But
nothing to say about Bob. Nothing.
but but yeah, he has and that's why when I hear people call him Terrence Toby Crawford and stuff like that, or the get along boy and stuff like that. I can't knock what they said because this man talked dirty about you and you had nothing but good things to say about Bob. It wasn't until after you leave you decide to put a lawsuit in there, you try to sue him, but then you dropped the lawsuit or you didn't follow through with the lawsuit and the lawsuit just went away. So you have nothing but bad things to say about people that's putting money in your pocket, but you have nothing but good things to say about people who's keeping money out of your pocket.
And it's the thing about it, man. He went before. I don't know if y'all heard where him and you had Bernie on there calling Al Heyman a queer and all this crazy stuff. Now you give it Al Heyman, all of a sudden you making big money. You don't know how to act. I'm kind of tired of him as a person, man. I'll tell you that.
I just think I just think they don't like Al Heyman because they was with Top Rank. And all those guys that was at PBC was making more money than the guys at Top Rank. And we now know that it's true because Bud then came out and said, he said, I understand what these guys are doing. I'm glad I didn't take the hedge fund money because I walked away with 30 plus million in this fight. So he see where Earl and them was saying, no, what about the back end? Because that's where all the money comes from. It comes from on the back end. And now now these fans they don't have nothing to say about Al Heyman and the PBC how they do business because they hear what Bud has been saying after Bud finally took the fight with Earl Spence and he got paid on the back end. He saw okay, yeah, they get paid heavily on the back end.
And I say this, man, it's just it gets bad for the sport, man, what he's doing because he do all this talking like he don't want to see. Oh, you don't got to talk trash, but the stuff he's saying about Danny Garcia, who you see him close with, it's like, Jesus, man, I can't believe he was talking like that.
Yeah. What's going on, MP? What the fuck?
But let me ask you this, man. So what's the next thing? You see that guy Edwin called out Sugar Shakur. How you see that fight going down?
Um, I think Shakur is going to win. It's not a bigger fight than the fight would have been with Frank Martin. But my whole thing is this whole thing with Frank Martin just happened on Monday, and all of a sudden, Santos is the next man that he's fighting, and the fight is agreed upon, and everything happened in like a day. There was no negotiations or nothing. Everything happened in a day, and I'm wondering, were they talking to Santos behind the scenes at the same time as they was trying to make the fight with Frank Martin? Was that part of the plan? If the things fall through with Frank Martin, is Santos going to be what's going on? Drew Titan, what's going on? Is Santos going to be the backup plan, or is Santos was Santos really the person that they wanted to have all along, and they just try to entertain the Frank Martin for the fans? That's my whole thing because the Santos been calling out Shakur Stevenson for like a year now, maybe a little bit longer. Ever since he beat Ryo, he been calling out. Was it Ryo that he beat? Yeah, I think it was Ryo. He
Yeah,
beat, and
right.
he was calling out Shakur Stevenson all this time, and Shakur Stevenson pretty much ain't pay him no mind. And so now all of a sudden Frank Martin falls out. What that just happened on what Monday? I think that just Monday or Saturday that happened. That Frank Martin pulled out, and then all of a sudden, uh, Santos is the next man, and the fight is on. It's not no. Oh, they talking to Santos. This might be the next possible opponent. It's the fight is on.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But that's kind of stuff they do, man. You know that fight was already set up, man. I'm
What's going
starting to
on, Josh
think.
Sanders?
I'm kind of maybe thinking maybe I might have jumped the gun by calling Frankie a duck because it seemed like Shakur already had the guy he wanted to fight, which is
Yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know everything. I'm just going by what I'm hearing and the reports that I'm reading and the tweets that I'm reading from these fighters. So I don't have an inside scoop of what's going on. It's just a lot of stuff just seem real fishy how things is going, especially around this fight. It just Shakur saying that Frank Martin asked for 50-50. Frank Martin said he never asked for 50-50. Then Shakur said that DM him and he said he want half of the money or whatever. And so it's just a whole lot of stuff. Like I said, I don't know everything, but it just a lot of stuff just don't seem right, and everything is not adding up.
I'm gonna tell you this though, man. I'm gonna ask you this: going into this, we got the Devin Haney Regis fight. What's gonna be? What the winner gonna do after that fight? What you think the winner's gonna do after that fight?
You said the Devin Haney and who?
Regis Prograde winner. We think the winner does in that fight. What does the winner do after a big fight like that?
Um, I think it's gonna be an entertaining fight. I don't know how big the fight is gonna be. I mean, they put it in the Bay Area. Hopefully, these people come out and support their own, and it be a huge event. Because they don't, from what I've been hearing, they don't get a lot of fights out there in San Francisco. So hopefully, they come out there and they support their own, and they make it a big event, and then maybe they can get more fights out there. But maybe it'll show that Devin Haney can sell because that's the word around town is Devin Haney doesn't sell. And so with this fight with Regis Prograis, if it's a big event and these fans come out and support the fight, then maybe he would be able to sell a big fight because I believe the next in line after the Regis Prograis, if he get past Regis Prograis, is Matisse.
And you know the funny thing about this whole this whole fight, man, that makes me laugh the most is that we talk about want to see the best fight the best. But guess what, man? We still haven't heard. We still haven't heard Devin Haney say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fight Batiste or I'm gonna fight Tio." It's just like I really wonder why don't nobody give him any slack for taking the path of least resistance, man. Why is that?
Why bark up a tree with a dog that don't bite back? That man T.O. do not want to fight Devin Haney, man. T.O. do not want to fight Devin Haney. He had plenty of opportunity to fight Devin Haney. He don't want to fight him. I mean, let T.O. say, you know what, I want to fight Devin Haney next, and then we could talk about that because it's no point of Devin Haney barking up that tree when that man's clearly running from him. That man,
Oh,
dog.
here we
The
go.
man, the man got beat by Cambosa and moved out of the weight class and said it was too hard for him to make 135, and then the next weight he weighed in at 137.
Hey, free 2 pounds a lot, man. You talking about a kid that's
Yeah,
growing.
two,
Hold on
two,
one
two
second.
pounds is a lot. 2 pounds is a lot. But if you're saying it's too hard for you to make 135 and you're going to 140, why would you weigh close to 140? Why are you weighing 2 pounds above the weight that you just came from? You only weighing 2 pounds above. You're not weighing 140, 141, or nothing like that. Because it wasn't a title fight. He could have came in a pound heavier. It wasn't a title fight. So
Hold
I
on one
mean,
second, man.
go ahead. That I don't think T.O. want to fight Devin. Like I said, if T.O. want to fight Devin Haney, let T.O. call Devin Haney out. There's no need for Devin Haney calling out T.O. unless he got all the other three belts and T.O.'s the last man on the checklist to be undisputed. Then he can call out T.O. Until then, he can let T.O. sit over there and cry about getting $1 million when the biggest purse he ever got was 2 million. That's the biggest purse he ever got. He cried about getting $1 million, but the biggest purse you ever got was 2 million. You ain't no $4 or $5 million fighter. You're a $1 million fighter. That's what you get. You get $1 million, and you was a mandatory. So I mean, he wasn't even a mandatory. He pretty much was a voluntary. He wasn't even a mandatory. That fight wasn't ordered. He said Juan said T.O. don't want to fight anybody that can box. Yeah, he don't. He don't want to fight nobody that can box. Josh said, I agree. I agree with Free on that one. T.O. talked like he wanted, but in reality, Haney is a nightmare for T.O. and T.O. knows it. Yeah. T.O. T.O. knows a tough fight. Like I said, he got in there with Cambosa and Cambosa boxed the man head off. So
Oh,
I mean,
now you box his head off. Come on, free. Come on, man.
dog, that man didn't box his head off, dog.
He
You
won.
tell
He won.
you
He
you telling me
won, man.
T.O.
I
didn't
give you
you
that. He
telling me
won.
T.O.
He
didn't
won.
get his head boxed off? You telling me T.O. did not get his head boxed off? That's what you telling me. T.O. got
T.O.
beat
lost,
to a
man. He
pulp.
said, I
T.O. was bleeding from every side of his face. Every portion of his face, he was bleeding.
well, T.O.'s a bleeder. T.O. bled like a pig when he fought Josh Taylor. That's just type of dude he is. He's a bleeder, man. You
That's from
see
the
him.
scars that Cambosa left on him.
Uh,
That's from the scars that Cambosa left on his head.
that boy. Hey, I don't know if y'all know, but my brother D Free is a part-time comedian, so that's where he getting all these jokes from.
I'm just saying that. I mean, up until then, I
Hey,
don't recall T.O. bleeding like that. I don't recall him being like that up until that fight.
I'm gonna say this, man. I don't know how you always get on a T.O. bashing session, man. I don't know how you.
Because
All
you
I
you you want to bring T, you want to act like T.O. is the boogeyman, and he don't scare nobody. That man, he can't even scare his own son.
hey, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna hit you with some real facts, man. I don't think there's a better guy under 147 than Teofimo Lopez, and that's a fact, bro. Under
That
147,
that is not a fact. That's your opinion. That is not a
No,
fact.
that's a
That's
fact.
your opinion.
That's a fact. There's nobody with a. You can't tell me a guy with a better resume other than maybe Lomachenko than Tio at one under 147. Who got a better resume than Tio under 147? Please enlighten me, man.
Under 147, who has a better resume?
Yes, no one other than maybe Lomachenko. That's it.
Josh Taylor has a better resume than T.O.
No, he don't.
Yes,
He
he
lost
does.
to Tio.
It doesn't
Oh,
matter if he lost to T.O. You said who has a better resume. He has a better resume. He has a better
how?
resume.
How? Break it down. How does he got a better resume than him?
No,
Tell me.
you do realize that Josh Taylor beat every champion at 140.
You realize that Tio did the same thing at 135, right?
No, he did not. He did
No, he
not beat
didn't.
every champion. He beat two champions. He didn't beat every champion. He beat two.
Okay, now Devin Haney's the champion, man. He was the Pride champion. We didn't got
Dog,
on him a million
he
times.
beat dog. Do you realize Lomachenko had three belts? If you want to count the franchise, he had three. T.O. had one. T.O. beat two champions at 135. He beat
Okay, at
two.
what? At 22 years old. That's when he did it, right?
Whatever you want to say. He only beat two. I'm saying Josh Taylor beat every champion at 140. He beat all four of them. There was four champions. He beat all four of them.
He struggled in that Jose Ramirez fight. I tell you that.
He beat Jose Ramirez. He beat Regis Prograis. He beat who was the other guy that he beat? I can't remember the other two guys that he beat. Damn, who was the other two guys? Regis Prograis has a better resume than T.O.
He said my man Josh said T.O. the only chance of beating Haney is to stop him with a lucky shot. Now come on, when have you ever seen T.O. throw a lucky shot? T.O. is one of the best boxers under 147, man. He's a
T.O.
terrific.
T.O. has skills. I'm not. I never deny T.O. don't have skills. T.O. has skills, but you act like T.O. is the best thing since sliced bread, and he's not. He's not.
I know.
T.O. don't even have a better resume at 135 than Devin Haney.
How? Who did Devin Haney beat?
The
Come
guy
on
that
now.
beat T.O. twice. He beat him
Who?
twice.
Oh my
Cambosa,
God.
he beat him twice.
Oh my God.
Dog.
T.O. couldn't make when T.O.
He
almost
beat
died.
dog. Can't Devin Haney missed weight twice, and he still was able to make the weight. He was struggling to make the weight three times, actually. Three times he struggled to make the weight. The first time against Cambosa, the second time against Cambosa, and the third time against Lomachenko. He struggled to make the weight. He still made the weight, and he beat all of them. He beat Cambosa twice, and he beat Lomachenko. He beat Lomachenko the same as Tio. He beat Cambosa twice, the person that Tio lost to him. He beat Jojo Diaz. He beat Linares, who's arguably better than anybody on T.O. resume at 135.
You're not better than
Actually,
Loma.
I said arguably better than anybody on T.O. resume. I'm not even counting Loma because Loma canceled himself out because Devin beat Loma as well. So he canceled himself out. So you can take Loma out the picture.
Yeah,
So, like I said, out of everybody that's on T.O. resume at 135, Devin Haney beat better fighters than T.O. did. So he doesn't have a better resume than Devin Haney at 135.
you got to remember, technically, Loma was undefeated when T.O. fought him. Technically, because that fight with I can't remember the guy's name, man. The little dirt bag that kept hitting him low. You really could almost say he was undefeated when T.O. fought him.
I can't say he
So,
was undefeated. He lost that fight.
hey, Steve Free, the nigga was hitting him in the nuts. What are you talking about, man?
No,
Come on.
did he get disqualified?
No, but he
Is it?
always do that. I cannot remember that.
I know
Some
who you talking about. You talking about his second fight when he fought his second fight. He lost his second fight, but unless that man got disqualified, he lost. He lost.
okay. So
What's going on, Bruce Gas?
to my brother Bruce Gas. But let me ask you this. Don't let me ask you this. So when we see what we seeing with Frank Martin and Sugar Shakur, is this is how boxing always is. We always gotta wait for these fights. Like the fact that we not getting the biggest fight to me is Devin Haney versus Tank. I think that'll be a huge fight. I think
I
that's a
mean,
$1.5 million fight right there.
I mean, for the most part, we always have to wait on these fights and let these fighters want to fight each other. You got to wait on the fight until these fighters want to fight each other. If these fighters want to fight each other, 9 times out of 10 we'll get the fight. The 1% of the time we won't get the fight is when the promoters stand in the way of that fight happening. But when the fighters want to fight each other, most of
Hmm.
the time we get those fights unless the promoter stands in the way. So if the promoter's in the way, then we have to wait for the promoters to agree and let these fights happen. But if the promoter's not in the way, majority of the time we get those fights when those fighters want to fight each other.
Well, you know, you saying that brings me to something that I think has really been bugging me, man. Is why in the world have they not stripped Jamal Charlo, man? I think it's a travesty. The brother ain't fought in 3 years, and the fact that they haven't took his belt from him, man, it's just a travesty because they're about to strip Jamal Charlo the night of the fight when he fights Canelo and get a belt to Tim Zoo. So why in the world are they not stripping Jamal, man?
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Shout out to my man Drew Titan because my man Drew Titan talked about this earlier on his show today, and I was glad that I listened in because Drew Titan thought of the same thing that I was thinking of. And the reason why Jamel is getting stripped is because it's the WBO. Tim Zoo is in the WBO. The reason why Jamal is not getting stripped is because Jamal is the WBC champion. And the talk is after the Jamel Charlo fight is Canelo supposed to be fighting Jamal. And what more to make Canelo look like a great fighter or a legend by fighting another champion? Now, Jamel's been out of the ring about to be 3 years, but he's still the WBC champion. So it will be Canelo fighting another champion when if he fights Jamal. So that's one of the reasons why he's not being stripped.
So basically, you telling me they playing with the books, right?
I'm telling you, the WBC do whatever Canelo wants them to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you.
See, that's the type of stuff, man, that kills boxing for me because I really miss Jose Suleiman because Jose Suleiman did that a little bit for Don King. He didn't do that. He didn't do all this like catering to guys, man. Because at the end of the day, I wonder what's gonna happen when and I'm a Canelo fan. I like Canelo. I think he's the best of his era. I think we actually in the Canelo Alvarez era right now. I think when Jamel stops him, I think Jamel becomes instantly the face of boxing, man. What do you think?
Um, It depends. It depends because it depends on how big this fight does. Because it's hard to take that away from Tank Davis right now because Tank Davis did 1.4 million, 1.2 million. So it's hard to take that away from Tank Davis right now. Now, if they do roughly the same numbers or bigger numbers, then yeah, if he go out there and he stops Canelo and they do 1.5, 1.4, something like that, then yeah, he would definitely be the face of boxing because not only did you stop Canelo, but you outsold Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia in the process of doing it. So I mean, he very well could be if they outsell, but right now Tank Davis' name is so big because of what him and Ryan just did. It's going to be hard to top that because we haven't seen a million pay per views sold since what the what was the last time we seen that? I think it was the Triple
Triple
G
Triple
Canelo
G
first
versus
fight. Yeah, their first fight.
the second fight.
Was it the second one?
Yeah, the second one on HBO.
Okay, so we haven't seen that, and that was years ago. So
Yeah.
it's going to be hard. And Canelo haven't hit 1 point nothing since then. He hasn't hit a million. I think the closest he came was like 700,000 with Caleb Plant. So
Yeah. And
so
you know the funny thing about, and it's the thing about boxing that kind of irks my nerves a little bit is the fact that you got a guy like a Jamel Charlo, man, who is an old school fighter. Actually, in my opinion, had the toughest route to become an undisputed. And now, not only did he do that, now he got the nuts to say, "I want to fight the best guy in the world." And Canelo Alvarez, and we in a doggone Canelo Alvarez era. And it's like for him to step to him, I don't see why Jamel Charlo don't get more credit than he does. Is it because of his brother? Because honestly, from what I've been looking at, it seemed like Jamel really is the goods. I don't know if you think that you agree with him being the goods. I think he really is the goods, man.
no, Jamel definitely the goods. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. I mean, he's definitely the goods. It's more so of the controversy between. I mean, from the Charlos, they always on social media and people saying, oh, they drunk and this and that. So they get a lot of flack from that. And then is Canelo. A lot of people like Canelo Alvarez, and the fact that Jamel Charlo is a black fighter. So black fighters always going to have a harder ride to the top unless you a Floyd Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard or something like that. They're going to have a harder ride to claim uh, the the uh, the the casual fan base. And like I said, a lot of casuals, they want to see knockouts, they want to see big fights and stuff like that. So if you're not in a lot of big fights and you're not getting a lot of knockouts, you're not going to get a big fan base like that.
So it's I guess the thing is this. So have we have we if we say Canelo, gets stopped, will that be the end for Canelo, or is there somewhere else for him to go? Because I think
Um,
we're kind of running out of time.
I I'm not going to say it's the end of Canelo because Canelo only one can make that decision if that's the end of him. But what I will say is, um, if he gets knocked out, he's not going to be. He's not. What's going on, Dub? Right side. He is not going to be the Canelo that we all used to seeing. He's not going to be that mega star. I mean, he's still going to be a star. He's not going to be the mega star that everybody want to see Canelo fight and stuff like that. Because that the one thing that we all said about Canelo is Canelo has a chin. So if Canelo goes out there and he gets knocked out by Jamel Charlo, people will be like, okay, Canelo, he's over, he's done, he's washed. He don't have a chin no more. We already know his punch output, his stamina is down from what it used to be. He gets tired fast in these fights. So and he got bad knees. They're gonna be like, okay, he's done. He's not going to be the star that people want to see Canelo fight. Now, if he get in there with somebody like a David Benavidez, yeah, they still won't pay because people still gonna want to see that fight, even though Canelo is pretty much done. They still gonna
Mhm,
want to see that fight because it's David Benavidez versus Canelo.
mhm.
So, but I'm not gonna say that he's done far as his boxing career because Canelo's the only one that can make that decision if he's done or not. But far as what the fans want to see, if he gets knocked out, I don't think the fans really care too much about seeing Canelo. Because truth be told, fans ain't really tuning in and see Canelo like that anyway because he ain't been facing nobody that we want to see him fight.
Yeah, he did do 200,000. A light 200,000, man, fighting John Ryder. Look at my brother Dub right side, man, the invisible man. Where you been at, Dub? Pull up, man.
Man, from what no knockout said, Dub got a promotion. He been working like crazy. So,
Yeah,
congratulations to Dub right side, man. Appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And we miss you in these YouTube streets, respectfully.
yeah. Hey, what my father said. Well, somebody said respect for them, but to disrespect you. Hey,
Yeah.
but I say this, man. I think Canelo Alvarez gets a bad rap. You talking about a kid who went up there and fought a monster and Dimitri Bivol. You had people calling Demetri Bibble kibbles and bits, all kinds of stupid stuff. And we seen that kid really go up there, man, and challenge one of the best in the world. And he lost, unfortunately. And then he goes from that, takes a little tune up, fights John Ryder, and then steps to the 154 champion, undisputed champion, like it's nothing, who really is the bigger man. Because I don't know if you heard, but it seemed like Jamel, after he stops Canelo, is looking to stop David Benavidez. You think that'll be a good fight as well?
Yeah, that definitely would be a good fight. I mean, everybody wanted to see Jamal versus David Benavidez. I mean, he fighting the younger brother. So I mean, that would be a hell of a fight, especially if Canelo. I mean, if Jamel Charlo beats Canelo and he's the undisputed champion at 168. Everybody wanted to see David Benavidez because, like I told you before, Jamel Charlo would not be the number one guy at 168 because he beat Canelo. I mean, I ain't gonna say he wouldn't be the number one guy. He wouldn't be the best guy at 168 until he beat David Benavidez and David Morrell because I believe those two guys are the two best fighters at 168. That's the reason why Canelo is not trying to fight those guys right now.
I think you know what I put it like this, man. I've never seen a guy like Canelo get so much disrespect, so much hate. People say he cherry picking. They say he don't want to fight the best. But when I look down Canelo's when I look over Canelo's career, man, it's just been one big fight after the other, man. And you know the funny thing about it, I'm just disappointed that we never got the Errol Spence versus Canelo Alvarez fight. I think that would have been huge in Texas, man. I think that could have did like 2-3 million, man, in Texas. What you think?
It's a big fight. I mean, it very well still could happen. I mean, we don't know. We only can hope that it will happen if it's lined up. But you looking at Canelo resume is just like a casual looking at Canelo resume. All you looking at is the name. You're looking at the names. You're not looking at the time frame when he fought those guys. So a diehard would look at it and be like, okay, he fought this guy, but this guy was at the end of his career. He fought that guy, but that guy was at the end of his career. A casual would look at it and be like, oh, he fought him? Oh, yeah, he was a good fighter. Okay, he fought him.
What the fuck you say?
That's what a casual would do. But a diehard would look at it and be like, okay, I saw this fight. He fought this guy. This man was 37 years old. He was at the end of his career. He fought this guy. This man had one more fight after that, and he was done. So yeah, I can understand how you look at it and you see.
You have to stop. Y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up.
I, I
I had to get
understand.
grip on you, man. You talking
I
what?
understand. I understand when the facts is out here, you don't want to hear it.
Oh, here we go.
That's usually how haters do. When the facts is being presented, they don't want to hear. That's when when you catch somebody in a lie, you catch somebody out this joint not telling the truth. They always want to talk over you. That's what they do.
Hey, I
I
want y'all to
understand.
know. I want y'all to know. D3 comes off as a really nice guy, pleasant guy, but he's really a
Is
jerk,
a
man.
no good, lousy son of a
Hey,
bitch.
hey, hey!
That's exactly what he is.
Nah, D free keep it 100. That's what I do. I'm
Hey,
not. I'm not.
you
I'm
gotta
not
remember.
playing.
Y'all gotta remember, guys. Now this fight's almost 20-something years old, and he's still lying, saying that Sweet Pea beat Oscar De La Hoya. And y'all and everybody that tunes in every week know that D3 has been pushing this propaganda lie. You know what? He's the same guy that probably said that they stole the vote.
No, you know
Anytime
what?
stop yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was just talking to my wife about that. How you keep saying that Sweet Pete lost to Oscar De La Hoya, and I didn't. I literally counted how many times you had somebody come on a panel and you asked them that question, and it had to be at least 10 to 15 people you had come on a panel. You asked them that question, and nobody agrees with you. Nobody agrees with you. Everybody agrees with me. Sweet Pea got robbed. Nobody agrees with you.
Hey, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy because you even turned my brother Josh Sanders against me. My brother, my own brother, he turned him against me. But I'm gonna
No.
tell you this, man. I'm gonna tell you this. The thing that you're missing about Canelo is when it comes down, because you're a natural hater to that style of fighting, people gonna look back and remember how great Canelo Alvarez was, man. This dude, 33 years old, got over 60 fights, fought the Sugar Shane Mosleys, the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers. Unfortunately, he lost. Fought the Dmitry Bivens. I mean, he done fought them all, man. I mean, Sergey Kovalev. I mean, we just keep naming all the guys.
He ain't fight them all. He fought a lot of guys that was at the end of their career
Oh,
that had big names. But the guys that he was supposed to fight, he didn't fight them.
but see, you say that, but people give Holyfield a lot of credit for beating an ancient George Foreman, not the George Foreman that fought Joe Frazier or George Foreman that fought Ali. They try to give him all the credit in the world for beating him.
The key
Ancient
word
George
the
Foreman.
key word in that statement that you just made is people. I don't give them credit for anything unless you prove it in the boxing ring. I'm not giving you credit for beating a guy that was almost 50 years old. I'm not giving you credit for that. I'm not giving you credit for that. You beat George Foreman, okay, congratulations. But that man was 50 years old. Let me see you fight the George Foreman that Muhammad Ali fight and beat him. That's what I give you credit for. You got the win. You were supposed to. He was 50 years old. You were supposed to.
Hey, That being said, man, let me ask you this: when you heard about the whole Sugar Shakur, fiasco, I'm wondering this. Do you think Shakur's gonna have to leave 135, or what you think? You think he's gonna stick around and wait for Devin to drop all them belts? What you think he's gonna do in this case?
No, what Shakur gonna have to do to 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 make his name bigger, as you talking about making his name bigger or becoming a
Yeah,
champion,
no, making his name bigger.
what he gonna have to do is pull up his pants, tie up his G string, and get in the ring with Tank Davis. That's what he's gonna have to do. Because until you get in the ring with Tank Davis, you ain't beating the best guy. The best guy at 135 is Tank Davis. So until he does that, he ain't doing that because you're not telling me a lot because you beat Santos. That's not saying a lot.
I mean, and the funny thing about it, if he does beat Santos, what is that? That's another nobody he's beating. And I'm telling you what, man. No matter what they say, man, I honestly think if this kid was at 140, I think a 147, which is probably coming late in his career, I think he can be beat. I think it's going to be tough to beat him at that 135. It was tough to beat him at 130. It's going to be tough at them smaller weights, but I think once you get to 140, it's going to be midnight. I think we got to almost just wait him out because right now he looks great beating up Yoshi for Mario, beating up an ancient Jamel Herring, beating up an old Oscar Valdez. But when he get in there with guys like Matias or get in there with a Devin Haney or even a Tank, I think we're gonna see that Sugar Shakur might be just very well matched. He might not be the goods like that, man. We're gonna see. We're
Uh,
gonna see.
I mean that goes for everybody when you move up in the bigger weight classes because those guys are bigger. Those guys are naturally bigger. That pretty much come down to 147 or 140. So when you at 135, you naturally a guy that's supposed to be fighting at 140, 147, you coming down to fight at 135. So those guys that's naturally fighting at 140 or 147, they are bigger guys that's coming down to fight at those weight classes. So yeah, it goes for everybody that moves up in weight. Is when the guys that naturally like Tank Davis, he's fighting at a weight that he's supposed to be at because he's only 5'5". Now he walks around bigger than that, but he's 5'5". That man fighting at a weight that he's supposed to be at. He's not a guy that's gonna be fighting at 154 or 160, nothing like that. He might move up and fight at 140 in his later years, depending on how long Tank Davis want to fight. He might have to move up to fight at 140, but I don't see him going past 140 because he's naturally the smaller fighter. So he can't move up but so much.
You know what? I think honestly, to tell you the truth, I think 140 is like 155 was for Floyd. I just think it's a little bit too big, pause. I don't think Floyd is a big enough man, pause, to actually get up there and rumble with those bigger guys like that, man. I think we can say what we want, but he used a lot of great footwork versus Mario Barrios, and he stopped him. But I think it take a lot of discipline to beat a guy like that. When you got to move the way he was moving, it take a lot of discipline
But you
because
got
go ahead.
no, you got to realize that Floyd was 5'8". So he's naturally taller. He's roughly the same height as Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. So he's naturally a taller fighter and a bigger fighter than 135. He fought at 135. He started off there, but he's naturally a bigger fighter. He was supposed to be at 147, 140, somewhere around there, but he started off at 135. So a guy that's tall, eventually they're going to move up in weight because your body is going to fill out to your height. You're going to get you're going to gain more weight because of your height. It's just human nature. You're just going to gain more weight.
I think you know what I think the funny thing is that if Tank fights Eastside Cruz like he plans to, I think he's gonna lose a lot of fans because to be honest with you, the same thing that everybody kind of indicts Canelo for is the same thing, and you always said it, and I give you a lot of credit that really Tank is only fighting for himself. I don't think he fights for the fans. I don't think he fights for nothing but himself and I think he fights for the money. And I honestly believe that this Eastside Cruz fight lets you know that he's not interested in taking a big fight either, because he can fight anybody he want, and he still ain't fought Shakur. And I don't know why the Devin Haney fight can't be made, but I'll say this: Devin Haney, to salute to my brother Crown Jewels bringing it up. Devin Haney hasn't even said the word T since Tank been out of jail. What do you
Yeah,
think about
I
that?
mean that. I mean, Tank Davis. I'm not gonna say he doesn't fight for the fans because, like I told you, the casuals what they want to see. They want to see exciting fights and they want to see knockouts. So as long as Tank Davis knocking people out, the casuals is going to tune in to see Tank Davis fight. The same way they did with Mike Tyson. As long as Mike Tyson was knocking people out, the casuals was tuning in to see Mike Tyson fight. So as long as he's still knocking people out, they're going to tune in to see him fight because they want to see knockouts. But the Devin Haney situation, I mean, Steve Espinoza, they reached out to the Devin Haney camp and they said they was looking elsewhere. They was going a different route. They was going after Regis Prograis. So I mean, it wasn't like Tank Davis and them didn't reach out to him. He did. They decided they was going to Regis Prograis route. So I mean, we're going to see what Devin Haney does after this Regis Prograis fight. Is he going to sit there and say, "Hey, Tank Davis, if you want to fight, we could fight at a catchweight, or you could come up to 140," or is he just going to say, "You know what? I'm campaigning at 140 and I'm fighting these guys up here"? Because I mean, the talk was he was going to test out the waters at 140 and he was going back down, which I never believed that he would come back down to 135 because he was struggling to make 135 his last three fights. So I don't think he's ever coming back down to 135. But after the Regis Prograis, he could say, "Hey, we could fight at a catchweight, or you can come fight me at 140." So we'll find out. But like Crown Jewel said, ever since Tank Davis, I mean, ever since the Lomachenko fight was over, and Tank Davis was free, and Devin Haney was free, Devin Haney hasn't mentioned Tank Davis' name.
And I think it's crazy because what I'm seeing, with Tank is like he don't understand that he has the power to make all the fights that he wants. I mean, if he and I put like this, I know that you really kind of gave Errol a hard time about completely giving away his A side, but when you want to make a fight, I think Errol Spence showed us that you can make the fight if you're the A side. And not saying you got to do what he did, because I believe him giving away so much is one of the reasons why he lost. I mean, a lot of people won't agree with me. They'll say, "Oh, that's just sour grapes," but I honestly believe if Errol Spence, he wanted that fight bad enough, he went ahead and made it. And I'm just telling you, man, I don't. I think Tank, if he would just give up a little bit, pause, he could get some of those big fights, man. You don't think he can?
No, I mean if the only fight is Devin Haney. Like I said, Devin Haney, they said they was going elsewhere. They was looking at something else. So what's going on, A1? So he can't get that fight with somebody that said they not looking to make that fight. Now with the Shakur Stevenson, they have to deal with Bob Erm because he's under top rank. They got to deal
Mhm.
with Bob Erm. If Bob Erm is not willing to make that fight, it's nothing that Tank Davis can do. He could say, "Hey, I'm trying to make this fight. These guys ain't trying to make the fight." But Tank Davis, he's the A side. He can reach out to these guys, but if they're not trying to, they're not accepting the offer that he gives them. There's nothing he can do about it. All he can do is reach out to them. If they're not accepting the offer, they're not accepting the offer. He can't force those guys to fight. So what he's going to do is, like I said, he's not going to get the Shakur Stevenson fight because he's already tied up. They's fighting Santos now. At first, he was supposed to be fighting Frank Martin. Now he's fighting Santos. So he's not getting that fight. Maybe Tank can go after Frank Martin. Maybe we can get that fight instead of the Eastside Cruz. But like I said, when it comes to Tank Davis, he's looking at what what fight gives me the biggest purse. He's not so much caring about what's the biggest fight because he is the big fight. So he's looking at what fight gives me the biggest purse. So if the Frank Davis fight is not giving him a bigger purse than the Eastside Cruz, he might take the Eastside Cruz fight. I hope he takes the Frank Martin fight because right now it hasn't been an announcement of who Tank Davis is fighting. Now that Frank Martin is free, hopefully he gets the Frank Martin fight.
I don't know, man. I just kind of see. I understand why Floyd was so bitter and upset at boxing, but I don't know. It seemed like boxing's been good to Javante Davis, and he still seems to only care about himself and only fights that make sense for him. I don't understand why he's like that, man. Because I'm telling you,
That's because Floyd made him like that. What do you mean you don't care why? You don't understand why he like that? Floyd made him like that. That's
I
what
mean,
Floyd and
but
Lennon Elby was doing.
I mean, they just made him not. All he care about is the money, and that's the worst kind
I
of
mean,
fighter.
we can't even say that because Tank Davis took 2 fights since he's been out of the Floyd Mayweather's promotional company. He only took 2 fights, which was Hector Garcia and Ryan Garcia. And a lot, I mean, regardless of what people say now that the fight was made, a lot of people was talking about they wanted to see Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. A few years ago, when Ryan Garcia was talking all that, I'm gonna knock him out in 2 rounds. Everybody wanted to see that fight. Now that Tank Davis made that fight, everybody wanted to shit on it. But they was talking about they wanted to see that fight. So I don't.
No, I'm not saying. I want to see that fight because I actually thought King Ryan would stop Tank.
Right,
So
but that's what I'm saying. So you can't say Tank only cares about himself because he only made 2 fights, which was the Hector Garcia, which was a tune-up fight for the Ryan Garcia fight. And then he got the Ron Garcia fight. He hasn't had he had 2 fights in what 6 months. So he hasn't had another fight yet. And so if he get another fight, this will be his 3rd fight in this year. This will be his 3rd fight. So we can't say that he only cares about the money because he hasn't done anything yet. He only did 2 fights, and one of the fights people wanted to see.
I'll say this. I'll say this. When you look at boxing as a whole, man, you just keep seeing these guys, man, not making the big fights. I mean, you realize that people are really pushing for a guy at 122 to fight Tank at 135. You realize that's the fight everybody's talking about, like a fight
No,
that
no.
really I doubt it happened. Because I
They
think
they
at anything,
they was talking about it. I haven't heard nobody talk about that in the last couple of weeks. They was talking about it after he had beat Cool Boy, but that joint died down real quick. I think it died down like a week later. I haven't heard nobody talk about it since then.
I honestly think Inoue's gonna have some trouble at 126 with Robisi, man. I think Robisi's a legit fighter, and I think if Robisi can be focused like we know he can really do something. I mean, only
I
person I
mean,
think. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it will be, but we gotta remember, anyway, it's not at 126. He's at 122. He fought Cool Boy at 122, not 126. So if he was to fight Tank Davis, he will be jumping up 3 weight classes. So I mean, he hasn't even got to 126 yet. He's still at 122. So we believe that he's going to go to 126 and fight those guys at 126, but we don't know what he's going to do. He's still at 122. But I believe Robisi is a good fight. I don't know if Robisi will beat him because he has discipline problems. He lacks defense at times in the fight. So I don't know if he will beat him. I know it will be a good fight, but I don't know if Robisi will beat him. I think Robisi has the tools to beat him, but I don't know if he will.
Because I think he'll blow through Brandon Figueroa, man. I don't think nobody. I think Robisi be his toughest challenge at 126. I mean, I know he's gonna fight for undisputed at the end of the year. I can't think of the guy's name who got the other 2 belts. The dude that beat MJ, I believe, has the other
Mm-hmm.
2 belts. But I'm just saying, in general, those are the kind of fights we hearing about. We don't get to hear like, I honestly want to see Navarrete versus Tank. I think that'd be a big fight. What you think?
I think Navarrete get knocked out in the first 5 rounds.
Oh my, with them long arms.
I think Navarrete gets knocked out in the first 5 rounds.
I'm not. I don't. I put like this. I think Navarrete is better than how you giving him credit.
No,
Uh,
he's not. He's not. He's not better than what I give him credit for. The one thing you cannot do with Tank Davis is lack defense. Navarrete throws so many punches that he lacks defense. And with Tank Davis, you lacking in defense cause you to go to sleep early. Yeah. Yeah.
hey, I give you that. He definitely lacks defense. Now that's the one thing I will say. He said he might go blind and quit in the corner.
Nah, you can't lack defense with Tank Davis. Like I said, you don't want to throw so many because the counter to a guy that throws a lot of punches is to throw punches in between his punches because that's where his defense is not there. He's too busy in throwing combination. You don't have defense. So when he's throwing all those combinations, you got to remember Tank Davis is the smaller fighter. So Tank Davis is punching up. He's punching down. While he's punching down, the thing that he's leaving open is his rib cage and his chin because he's throwing so many punches. He's leaving his chin wide open, and Tank Davis is a excellent counter puncher. And Tank Davis, you got to go to BVO page. Go to BVO page. He got the link there. But yeah, when you throwing so many punches, and Tank Davis is an excellent counter puncher, you gotta be able to be pay attention to defense. If you throwing combinations, you're not paying attention to defense. You just trying to get your punches off. And Tank Davis is the wrong fighter to just try to throw punches. Think, oh, I'm gonna slow him down because I'm gonna throw a lot of punches. Tank don't throw a lot of punches anyway. So Tank Davis look for an opening. He don't throws a lot of punches. So he's looking to see where you leaving yourself open at. And once he find it, he wait for you to do it again, and then he capitalize on it. And Tank Davis, all it takes is one punch, and you going to sleep.
You definitely got to watch Tech. He will blind you or put you to right to bed. Salute to my brother A1. He said, "No, I ain't going to Skip Bayless page." Well, that's because A1 has got a little Frank Martin. He's a coward. He know not to ever come step to me on no boxing debate. That's what and the funny thing is, a coward like that would say something like that. You don't want to see me in no boxing debate, man. You know better than that.
Let me see if I can copy this link.
Stick to watching basketball or playing soccer, man. We do this up here at Roll the Punches podcast, bro. This ain't for no kids, man. We roll the niggas over here. Pause. But back to what I was saying, man. Before I got hit by that troll, I think Nabarate's arm length is very very different and awkward because he looked like Rock'em Socker when he was beating up Oscar Valdez. And Oscar Valdez is a pretty talented fighter. And he made Oscar Valdez look like he was an amateur, man. I think he'd be the worst than Shakur did.
That retarded uppercut that he was throwing ain't gonna work with Tank Davis, dog. It ain't gonna work with Tank Davis. That uppercut, he left his whole right side wide open. His rib, his chin. What's going on, Quick? He left everything open. That is not working with Tank Davis. I don't even think he would take the fight. I don't even think he'd take the fight if Tank Davis if Tank Davis offered him the fight. I don't think he'll take it. What's going on, A1?
A1, what's up with you, man?
What's good with it, man? I had to pull up on the easy work real quick. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
here,
Yeah, you'll be a warm up. D free will be the real thing. That'll
oh,
be
here
where
we
it's a
go.
competition, bro. That's
Here
like,
we
hey,
go, man.
this like freshman or JV versus varsity, man. It's
You
easy
know
light
what's funny,
work, bro.
bro? You know what's funny? Whenever I talk to you, A1, all you do is like you a real Arsenio Hall type nigga. Everybody in the TWT is Eddie Murphy for you. You always trying to be on some Arsenio Hall stuff, bro. I come at
Hey, you
niggas by
can
myself.
you you you
I don't
you
need none of
kind
that.
of look like him a little bit, but I don't need. Hey, whatever you want, whenever you want, you let me know.
Hey, like I said, super quickly, man. You scared to death,
I'm
man. You can never debate me in nothing, man.
Hey,
Basketball,
whenever you
football.
want it, let me know. I'm gonna have to change my name from A1 to All Smoke because that's all I do, bro. I don't duck nothing at any point in
Hey,
time,
hey,
man.
hey. I heard you should change your name, man, to Punk, man. Or Coward, man. That'd be better, man, because you would never want to see me in no debate.
You make
Besides,
you make punk and coward sound like a steak or something. I don't know.
hey, you know what? I ain't gonna let my man Elmo get under my skin, man. But I'll say this, man. When it comes to Tank, man, he really gotta make a statement, man, this next fight. Because if not, you can't go from selling 1.4 to selling 100,000, 200,000 with no doggone Eastside Cruz, man. I think that'd really be bad for him. He'll lose ground doing something like that.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if there's anybody at 135 that Tank Davis can do a million pay-per-view with. To be honest with you, I don't think there is nobody at
Devin Haney
135.
was just there.
They fight to the same fan base. I don't think that the reason why Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia did so well is because it's a black versus a Mexican. The two biggest fan bases in boxing, blacks and Mexicans. So that's why it did so well because it was a black versus a Mexican. That's why I believe the Jamel Charlo and Canelo Alvarez would do well because it's a black versus a Mexican. So I don't think that I mean it would do good numbers. I don't think it would do a million. It would do good numbers. If he fight Shakur, it would do good numbers. He fight Devin, it would do good numbers. He fight Frank Martin, it possibly be do good numbers. Even if he fight Pitbull Cruz, it would do good numbers because regardless of how we feel about the fight that he had with Pitbull Cruz' name got put on the map when he fought Tank Davis. So now a lot of those Mexicans, they like Pitbull Cruz. A lot of those Mexicans believe that Pitbull Cruz beat Tank Davis. So I believe that they're going to turn out to see the next fight because they believe that Pitbull beat Tank Davis in the first fight. So that's one of the reasons why uh, Coach Cal is pushing for that fight because he sees the Mexicans how they support Pitbull Cruz. So he know that that's a big money fight. That's why he's pushing for that fight. And like I said, regardless of how we feel about it, that is a big money fight for Tank Davis.
Well, let
Hey,
me ask
beef.
you this, A1. You being a Mexican, man, what do you think about that fight happening, man? You think that'll be a good fight?
Hey, that sound like jealousy. But 'cause I got some good hair. You got that goddamn, you know what I'm saying, major pain haircut. Uh, but no, all jokes aside, D3. If I'm being dead honest with you, from a money perspective, outside of Dev, obviously, I think the next one, unfortunately, would have to be Pitbull. We not clamoring for it, but they like, Coach Cal and them know it's gonna do some numbers, like you said, because it's just based off the countries that's riding behind them and things like that. I was gonna say the other side of that is what they could try and do is maybe catch, you know what I'm saying, Masanua at a potential catch weight. You know what I mean? Something. Hey, they gonna them Japanese people they gonna fan out. Obviously, Tank definitely not going to no damn Japan, but I mean that's gonna bring in a nice crowd though. 'Cause you got fans that's Japanese, that's white, all different sorts that are looking at Monster Inoue and thinking like he's that person because what he just did. You know, what I'm saying, they victims of the moment of what he did to Cool Boy. You know what I mean? But they not realizing that that's a big hurdle to jump up that many weight classes to fight somebody as dangerous as Tank. Hell, Tank probably just as fast as he is. You know what I
Right.
mean? There probably isn't even a lapse, but we all know Tank is out there hitting like a Mack truck. You know what I mean? We know New Way put Cool Boy out, but shit, that ain't the same as him. Going and fighting the Tank Davis. Because even the little shots that Cool Boy, the couple he got in, them could be sleepers. You know what I mean? We saw what Nanito did to him when he broke his orbital bone and stuff like that. So it's like imagine him standing in the pocket in exchange with Tank. We didn't see Tank get you know what I'm saying his like we know he got a Canelo chin. We ain't never seen Tank in any type of adversity when he didn't take a punch.
Right.
You
Oh
know
yeah,
what
he
I
got a
mean? But we
beard.
didn't
That's a
see.
fact.
You
That's a
said
fact.
what?
I said you're right. Tank do got a beard. That's a fact. I give him that.
Yeah, that boy.
Boy
I mean,
got a beard.
he got a toddler body with a grown man head. So it's like, yeah, that boy, he could take a punch. So I'm just thinking, like, man, like, what's the two fights that fans will be like, oh, cool, you know what I'm saying? I'll accept this, but I wasn't calling for it. Inoue is definitely one that fans will be cool with watching, and unfortunately, you know what I mean? Freaking what's his name? Pitbull is the other one. Stop, no more sticks, okay? Stop. Pitbull is the other one where you look at it where fans are gonna say no at first, then it was like, all right, man, you're gonna get the fans that's gonna say, all right, since they think he won, go ahead and go in there and put him out. So then that way it leaves no doubt. You know what I mean? I
Right.
know Floyd used to say, what he used to say, if you get it right, if you do the job right the first time, ain't no point in doing it the second time. But hell, he fought Maidana twice.
Yeah, he did.
That means something.
Yeah. But yeah, I
And I'll
just
tell
I
you this,
just
and
I
speaking
just
of
think
that, man, Floyd, people forget about this, man. Floyd really lost, what was that dude? Castillo? He actually lost early in his career, man. But the thing about Floyd is people don't realize that, Floyd was willing to run it back. And when he ran it back, it was so convincing. I think that's all that they really want to see Tank do is
no,
run it back,
hold on.
dominate it back. Go ahead.
Hold up. How the hell can you say Floyd really lost that fight, but then you say Oscar beat Sweet Pea?
What are you talking about?
How can you say that? How can you
Still
say
won.
that?
What are you talking about?
How
What
can you say that? How can you say Floyd really lost that fight, but
Did you
Oscar
see
beat Sweet
Floyd's
Pea?
face? Did you see Floyd's face after
No,
that fight?
because you get cut does not mean you lost the fight.
Oh,
Because you get cut doesn't mean you lost the fight.
Hey, I
You can take one punch and get cut. That means you lost the fight because you took one punch.
well, let me ask you this, man. Cuts matter because I thought that Terrence Crawford had razor blades in his gloves the way Errol Spencer's face was sliced
No,
up.
that
So
cuts
I mean,
doesn't matter.
when your face is sliced
Cuts just
up,
mean that a punch landed. That's all it means. Is that a punch landed. But like I said, you can get cut from one punch. One punch, you got cut.
but you
That doesn't mean you lose the fight because
so
we saw Tyson Fury get cut. He didn't lose the fight.
man, that fight should have been stopped because if that was the case, going see you don't go off precedent free. That's the thing about you,
I'm
man.
just going by
I
what
go
I
off
said.
precedent, man. I go off
I'm
precedent.
just saying because I seen people get cut. It doesn't mean you lose the fight. We see Arthur Batumalev get cut plenty of times. He didn't lose the fight.
He stay cut. That's different. He fight with his doggone head. He stay bleeding.
But does he lose the fight? No. So
No, he don't.
because he get cut doesn't mean he lost the fight.
What my brother Josh said. Here we go, BVO. At least he didn't quit like Ryan. At the end of the day, I want you to take a under the stomach, under the rib shot from Tank Davis, man, and see how you do if that muscle hamster did that to you. You gonna go? You gonna stay down?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is Ryan Garcia looked at Tank Davis when Tank Davis stood over top of him like, please don't hit me again, man. I'm bad.
Hey,
I'm giving up. Don't hit me again, man.
DC,
Hey,
I thought I was the only person that saw that, bro. I was laughing when I saw.
hey, you know what's
Hey,
so funny? You know what's so funny, man? I never seen a cat. I never seen a Spanish cat like you, man, who always going against the come forward fighters, man. I don't know why you do that, man. I'm like,
I go against fighters that's garbage. I
here
don't
we
go
go.
against come forward fight. I go against fighters that's garbage. If you garbage, you garbage.
Okay, so Tio garbage now?
No, I said Tio got skills, but
Oh, okay, okay.
his mindset is garbage. His mentality is garbage. He got skills. He just got a horrible mindset and a horrible mentality. He don't want to fight anybody that he believes that can beat him, like Devin.
hey, I got a question for y'all when y'all done.
Go ahead.
What's up?
So when we saw Ryan take that body shot from Tank, right, and he took a knee, but he got up right at pretty much right when the ref counted him out. He stood up perfectly fine from that point, right? Why didn't he just stand up, take his defensive stance, and then literally just take another back up and take another knee? Because that would have preserved him and getting another you know what I'm saying? Being able to continue to fight, it would have just obviously been what is it? I think the lowest you can go is a 10-7 round or is it
Yeah,
10-8? I can't remember. But
it was a 10-8. It was a 10-8. He only got knocked down once. He got
no, I'm
knocked
saying
down.
the lowest they can go is 10-7, right? Or is it 10-8 the lowest that they can go for a round if you get knocked down twice? I can't remember, but either way,
If you get knocked down twice, it's a 10-7.
10-7.
Yeah.
Okay, I honestly think if he really wanted to continue, he could have got up, you know what I'm saying, took a few steps back, and then literally took another knee
No,
to
I'm gonna
give him, you know what I'm saying, some more time to try and recover. I can't remember how much time was left in that round though. If it was like 2 minutes left, and yeah, hell no, he probably about, you know what I'm saying, live to fight another day, knowing that they probably did some big numbers, and you know what I'm saying, took that to the bank, you know what I'm saying. But if he really thought he could win, I honestly think that he would have tried to do what I just said though, because we done seen fighters get hurt and they'll take another knee, and if it's amount of time, you know, survive and use their skills to try and survive and come back from it. But I honestly think that he knew he was kind of outmatched and outgunned because Tank clipped him on the other one, dropped him, and then he started feeling, you know what I'm saying, Tank can do more than do what? He got boxing skills. He was setting up punches and setting traps, you know what I mean? So I think that's honestly why Ryan was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and eat this body shot and I'm gonna sit it on down. I
no,
think
I
that's
mean,
why he did that.
if you paid attention to the whole lead up to the actual fight night, when Tank Davis, hold up, when Tank Davis did that FaceTime interview with Ryan Garcia, I think they was on IG, and Tank Davis was like, man, I heard you got stopped in the gym, and Ryan was like, man, I didn't get stopped. Tank Davis already knew that he got hurt to the body. That's what Tank Davis said. He said, I heard you got stopped to the body. And Ryan was like, nah, I didn't get stopped to the body. I don't know who told you that. I didn't get stopped. Tank Davis already knew he was hurt to the body. So Tank Davis was waiting for the perfect moment to hit him to the body. And he caught him right to the body, the same spot he got. And then if you listen to Joe Guzman after the fight, Joe Guzman said it was the rib. He was like, yeah, he said, I told you. Joe Goosa basically told him that he was going to get hurt in that fight if he go in there with Tank Davis, because Joe Goosa wanted him to postpone the fight, and Ryan Garcia said, "No, I'm not postponing. We're taking this fight now."
I think that's a good point. But what I will say though, A1 from, you know, seeing it over the years, you get hit with a kidney shot or a shot like that under the rib, you can't move for like 15 seconds and then you get up like that never happened. I think just the shock of that, because if you remember, Oscar De La Hoya was beating the life out of the execution of Bernard Hopkins, and then he got hit with that body shot, couldn't move. After he got done rolling around like a baby, he got up like that never happened, man. It's just one of them shock shots. You get hit right in the kidney or right in the rib, it's gonna put you down, man. This is one of them
Yeah, but I think
ancient
I
shots
think
that
I
do.
think I think it was a lot more too, because he already had got sat down against Tank Davis in the second round. He got sat down, and then Tank Davis hit him with that body shot in the sixth round. Tank Davis hit him with that body shot in the sixth round or the seventh round, and caught him with that body shot. And he was like, I know this man hit hard. I'm not taking another shot from this." But hold on 1 second for us. I got a phone call.
Hey,
I,
look at Josh. Hey, my bad, BVO. Look at Josh. I ain't getting in the ring with no one who can hit you one time and lose your vision. I'm good on that. Hey, just like I know you done seen the movie Troy. That's why nobody will remember your name.
I hate to say this about my brother Josh, but Josh the type of dude, if he in jail, man, brother's running in his cell grabbing his lockbox, man. Everything he owns is out of there, man. Like I, I
and then,
done met
and
guys
then he
like
and then he
really,
talking about look BVO. Then he'll say something. Can I at least get a what I'm saying? Can I get a bite? Like
and they run out his cell with his suits, soap, toilet paper, everything go, man. But that's how it go, man. But I'll say this, I think the funny thing about hold on 1 second. I think the funny thing about it is no matter what we say, man, with boxing, really Ryan wasn't ready, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's not wrong for Ryan to do it. Ryan got that money because AJ could have got $50 million if he would have fought Wilder. I mean, you got to go get that money, man. It's prize fighting. You fighting for a prize. So I'll be honest with you, man.
I'm
I,
drinking.
I think I think Ryan was a real life super genius to go ahead and get that $30 million, man, because that money might have always been there for him. And
I mean,
say
he
what you
didn't, he,
want.
didn't, he, he didn't know if it was going to be $30 million. He knew it was going to be a nice bag. He didn't know it was going to be 30 million.
I mean, I think he knew that because Ryan Garcia is really popular, man. He be with the hometown kids, the Paul brothers, man,
No, he
and
didn't know
Paul,
that.
the Paul brothers, man. They some of the biggest niggas in the world, man. They got their own sports drink free. You can't get no bigger than that free.
No, he didn't know he was going to get 30 million, because the only way he got 30 million because of the pay per view. He didn't know that it was going to do a million. They was projecting that it would do a million. They didn't know if it was going to do a million. People projected that Earl Spence and Bud Crawford would do a million. It did 700,000. They didn't know what it was going to do. They just knew it was going to be a big bag. They didn't know how much it was going to be. They just knew it was going to be a big bag.
And
He
my
knew
brother,
at the minimum he was going to get 10 million at the minimum, because Rolly got 5. So he knew at the minimum he was going to get 10. He was going they was going to sell more than him and more than Tank and Rolly. He knew they was going to sell more than that. So he knew at the minimum he was going to get 10.
he was only guaranteed $900,000, which is crazy. Him and Tank both was only guaranteed $900,000. People don't even realize that.
Yeah, I
Like
mean
they,
that's what PBC does. PBC give you a low guarantee, and you get all your money on the back end. Like if you look at all of the Earl Spence pay per view fights, he never got paid more than 1.5 guaranteed. All his pay per view fights, I think the most he got paid was 1.5 guaranteed. All of the money came on the back end from the pay per views.
yeah. I think you make a solid point, but I'm telling you, man, I think it was really smart of Ryan to go ahead and cash out, get that money because that money's not always there for you, man. I guarantee you, Anthony Joshua was gonna regret the day that he did not fight Wilder when he should have because he lost $50 million guaranteed, man. That's a lot of money, man. And
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, bro, even when they fought, I think they're supposed to fight in January, I believe. They're not gonna get no, he's not gonna get no $50 million this time. He's gonna get maybe 20. I think the
yeah.
thing is with boxing is these guys gotta know, go get that money while it's there.
I
I,
mean,
I, I,
I don't
I
know.
gotta say
I
this.
don't know. I don't know how much they're getting because we got to remember Saudi Arabia is putting this fight on for AJ and Wilder. So I don't know how much their guarantee is.
The
It could
guarantee
be.
was 20 million each though from the president of the Emirates, whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's the
He
guarantee. That's the guarantee. So I mean, they might make a little bit more. It depends on how much the pay per view does.
so you think they can pay per view it in Saudi Arabia? They're like on a whole different time than us.
No, the pay per view is still they can put it in the contract. The American pay per view, not the Saudi Arabia pay per view. The
Oh,
American pay per view.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I was just saying because that's like a whole different time zone.
Yeah, because
But
that's what they do with Canelo and Floyd. When Canelo and Floyd fought, Canelo got $5 million, but he got all of the Mexican pay per view, and he took a split for the American pay per view. I think I forgot what the split was for the American pay per view, but Floyd gave him all of the Mexican pay per view. That's why Canelo walked away with like 5 million from that fight.
yeah, hey, you know what's so funny? When you said that, Josh, I actually read that about it was 75 million for the fight in general. And Usyk said he would take, I think it was 20%
30.
and get the rest of Fury.
He said it's
And
30.
Fury, oh, 30.
Yeah.
30% and get the rest of Fury. And Fury still said no. So,
Yeah, because
I mean,
Fury was the one that said, I take 70, you take 30. And Usyk said, that's cool. And Fury was like, nah, I'm going to go. That man said, that's cool. Nah. Because Fury thought he was going to say no. And Usyk was like, okay. And he was like, nah, man, I'm going to go fight this MMA fighter, man. I ain't doing
I,
this shit.
that's the part I
I,
find weird. D free is I honestly think Fury can beat Usyk. Why would he turn it down? That's why I'm like what leaves me kind of extremely surprised about it.
Because at this point in time in Tyson Fury's career, he's lazy. And Usyk presents a style of boxing that Tyson Fury has to work for because Usyk is going to box him. He's not going to stand there. He's the smaller fighter. He's shorter and he's smaller and he's quicker. So he's not going to stand there and let Tyson Fury just lay on him. We saw what happened when Anthony Joshua fight. Anthony Joshua tried to do what Tyson Fury did and try to lay on him at times in the fight, and Usyk wasn't there for Anthony Joshua to be able to lay on him. And Tyson Fury don't want to have to work hard for the money that he's getting, and he know with this MMA fighter, he's a come forward fighter. He's not going to be dancing around the ring. He's going to come straight at Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury ain't got to work. All he got to do is throw his shot and lay on him. He ain't got to work for it. So he don't want to fight Usyk. I think he could beat Usyk as well. I think he'll beat Usyk, but I just think he don't want to work for that fight.
I think what you saying is true. I think Fury don't want to fight nobody with good feet. All the guys he beat were slow with bad feet. And I just think he don't want nobody with educated movement like Usyk. Even though from what I've seen with Daniel Dubois, man, he I mean Tyson Fury will beat the sleeves off of him, man. It would be a real life like massacre. If they got in the ring, I think he would beat him until he get tired, man.
I
Because
tried to tell
Tyson,
you a long time ago. You kept saying Usyk was the best fighter at heavyweight. I tried to tell you.
oh,
I said,
you was right, man. What I seen with Daniel, I mean, it'll just be like a mall, man. It'd be like a cat versus a mouse, man. He'd just be in
yeah.
there playing. He'll hurt
And
him, man.
that wasn't the first fight that happened because AJ caught him with a body shot, the same shot, and he did the same exact thing. He acted like he got hit with a low blow, and it was the same referee. It was the same referee that said, "Oh, that was a low blow." No, it wasn't. It was right on the belt line. He hit you right on the belt line, and he said it was a low blow. Same exact referee, same shot, and he had the same reaction both times. So if he going there, I guarantee if he going there with a Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, they not having that referee.
No, and you know what's funny? Deontay Wilder is the second best heavyweight in the world, and the thing is, Usyk knows not to fight. It's just like the triangle don't work because no matter how you play it, I just think Usyk is not beating Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. I mean, he just not. He gonna beat AJ because AJ really, to tell you the truth, AJ is a real hype job, man. AJ beat a lot of tough guys, but he actually kind of was orchestrated to beat him. Like when he beat Charles Martin, the dude tore his ACL in the ring. Come on, dude, that wasn't no real title fight. You got lucky that night. I mean, it just almost reminds me like when A1 tried to step to me on roasting, man. It's like he got no chance. He got no chance, man. But I'll say this, I look forward to seeing what Tyson Fury do because Right now, I got to stamp him as the worst heavyweight champion in boxing history, man. The worst. He's the worst. He's the worst heavyweight champion we ever seen in boxing, man. We haven't seen one worse than him, man. It's crazy. Like I've never seen a worse heavyweight champion. You can't name one that was this despicable. I mean, he's a real piece of garbage, man. It's
Yeah,
I just never seen a guy like that.
I give you that. I give you that. There's not. I mean, there's some bad
Is a
heavy.
no good, lousy son.
Yeah,
My
there's
bad.
some. No, you good. There's some bad heavyweight champions, but none of them is on the level of a Tyson Fury. None of them. Even the low blow. What's the name? The dude that kept hitting everybody low.
Um,
Uh,
you talking about the dude that fought Ali? Um,
nah,
the
not
one that
not
got
him.
killed.
No, that fought in the Tyson's era.
Yeah, that
Goliath,
Burton.
Goliath, Goliath.
Oh, Goliath. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Goliath.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he was a bad heavyweight, but like I said, none of those guys is on the level of a Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he cheats. He don't fight. Like people talk shit about Floyd Mayweather when he fought Conor McGregor. Nobody is saying nothing about Tyson Fury fighting uh, uh, Francis. Nobody's saying nothing about this, but they talk shit about Floyd fighting Conor McGregor. Oh, how they going to count this on Floyd Rucker? This is a exhibition fight. He's fighting an MMA fighter. This guy never fought in pro boxing. But Tyson Fury is doing the same thing, and nobody's saying nothing about it.
At 33.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. People don't realize Tyson Fury is young. I mean, Tyson Fury is like a Canelo, man. This dude been at it a long time. And it's funny because all of his wins, man, against guys that are slow with bad feet. And I'm telling you, man, he probably could beat Usyk to death. And I just think no matter what, it's you know what, and the sad thing is there's nobody that can beat him. Joe Joyce can't beat him. Zane can't beat him. All those guys, man, would really probably get beat to death, man, if they got in the ring with Tyson Fury because he's just on another level. I don't think we've seen this big of a gap from the 1 and 2 since Lennox was champion,
No,
man.
what I will say is it will be a lot of emojis. It'll be a lot of memes made. It'll be a lot of laughing, a lot of happy people if Tyson Fury go out here and get knocked out against Francis.
Yeah, but he gonna beat Francis to death, man.
I
Salute to
don't
my
know.
brother
I
GD.
don't know. Francis can fight. Francis can
Ah,
fight.
you know, I'm gonna
I ain't
tell you
say
like this.
I didn't say he could box. I said he could fight.
I'm gonna
I
tell
didn't
you
say he could
this.
box.
I'm gonna tell you this. Francis is a coward because as soon as John Jones comes back to the UFC, this dude don't sign his contract. All of a sudden, Dana White's unfair. But the whole time, John Jones was trying to make his way back to the ring. That 2 years, he was the face of the UFC as a heavyweight champion. But as soon as King Bones come back, this fool go MIA. This he's a hype job, man. John Jones would take his lunch and eat it in front of him, man.
No,
That is nobody.
no, that's John Jones. That, that I'm not even gonna call that man a coward. He know damn well he can't beat John Jones, and I know it, and everybody else know it. That's John Jones, though. John
Free,
Jones,
free. He ran from the whole freaking league to get away from John
John
Jones.
Jones is probably the only fighter in MMA that I believe can't nobody beat that man. Can't nobody beat that man.
No, nobody can.
And
Nobody.
we can't even say that in the sport of boxing. You can't say there's nobody in the sport of boxing that can't be beat. John Jones is that guy that you could say in MMA can't nobody beat that man.
Yeah,
But free,
I
he
think
ran from
no,
me. He ran.
no,
Free, he ran from me. You don't leave a doggone promotion company when you was the face of that promotion company while the guy was away. Then the guy come back. All of a sudden, you leave. You upset. That was all horse crap, man.
He saw
This
what
dude
John
was
Jones did
scared
in
hey,
his
to
first
death.
fight back. That's what he saw. He saw what John Jones did in his first fight back. He was like, "Oh, that nigga still got it."
And he was hey,
hey,
he was
y'all
rough
forgetting one
beating
thing,
the
man.
dog out of King.
What's
Go ahead.
that? What's
Yeah,
that? A1?
yeah, y'all forgetting one thing. Francis was getting paid pennies on the dollars. You had people, and he was doing more that they was getting paid 3 times the amount, bro. He chasing the bag.
Yeah,
He done already lost before, so they don't. When you lose before, you don't care too much about losing, bro. They
yeah,
like, but
and
I
the
think he
thing,
should have fought John Jones. But Alex, what was his name? Alex Gustafsson or Gustafsson, whatever his name was. He was the only person I ever saw came close to beating John Jones, and
oh
I think
yeah,
they rematched, and he put him out.
Yeah, the big white boy. I know you're talking about.
Man, John beat him to death the second fight, bro.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I know it's like, and that was because that was the first time John Jones ever faced somebody his same size. He
Yeah,
never faced nobody his same size, and he had to make adjustments. But that second fight, it was like he was in there with an amateur. I was
yeah.
like, okay, okay, it's not even
Hey,
close.
hey, you know the only loss John Jones got us because he kicked the dude on accident because he didn't know the fight was over.
No, I thought it was because his hand was down, so it was like an illegal strike, and they like knocked him out, or something stupid
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
thought he.
that's why I'd say John Jones is the only person in MMA that can't be beat because I don't count that loss. The same way they gave Roy Jones that loss against what's that guy when Roy hit the dude when he went down and they disqualified Roy and gave him the loss and then Roy came back and beat him with one hand. That's the
Named
same
Griffin
way.
or something.
Yeah, Griffith. Yeah, the same way they did that to Roy Jones. That's why I always said Roy Jones is undefeated. They were like, well, he lost. I said he was disqualified. He didn't lose. He was disqualified because he hit a dude that was down. He didn't lose. He was disqualified. But Roy Jones came back and beat him with one hand. And John Jones. I mean, that's why I don't consider John Jones ever taking a loss because he got disqualified.
Francis Ngannou is like my height. He like 6'5", 250, probably about 270, and he got a guy who's 6'4", barely 240, and he's scared to death of him. Like that's crazy. He's scared to death of him.
Dog, if you saw John Jones in action in real life, your ass would be scared to death to fight him too. You
I would.
you might you might you might get in there because you see the money, but your ass gonna be scared to death when he throw that first punch. You gonna be like, oh shit. That's like
Hey,
me. That's like me getting in the ring with Mike Tyson. Me and Mike Tyson roughly the same height. But I know damn well if Mike Tyson land a shot on me, it might be curtains. I'm gonna be scared to death. But the first time the wind go cross my nose, I'm going to sleep. I'm not even gonna let him hit me. He swing cross, I'm out.
I'm
I'm
just
out.
saying, bro. I don't think I ever seen a cat that big turn into a mouse, man. Like,
That's like you seen it before. You see a guy that in school, he a bully, he bullying everybody. Then there's this small little dude that come up there that ain't taking no shit from that dude. And that nigga's like, no, after school we gonna fight. Dude be like, all right, fuck it, after school. And then we get outside and you see that motherfucker bully getting on the bus, and the little dude like, no, I thought we were gonna be fighting. I thought we were gonna be fighting. That's exactly what you saw. But
hey,
nah,
I ain't gonna lie, one. It's too freaking crazy.
nah.
You said what
Hey,
happened?
John Jones ain't no joke, dog.
hey, hey, you know what's so funny, man? When you boy, I've never seen Francis so scared, man. I guess they had
When you
I,
realize that nigga ain't scared of you, you thought your size and your weight going make him scared, and you realize he ain't scared of you. All that talking goes out the window when that man said, "All right, dog, what's up? We can fight next." Then like, nah,
hey,
dog, I ain't trying to do that.
hey,
That
it's
same
just funny
thing. That
because
same thing. Tyson Fury said to Usyk. That nigga said, "I want 70. I want 70%." Usyk said, "Okay, we can fight." Nigga like, nah, dog. I ain't trying to take that shit, dog.
I'm
Nah,
just
I
saying
need more
John
money.
Jones was so small, man, compared to this guy, and like he just got him terrified.
Man, John
Like,
Jones. John Jones ain't no joke. I'm trying to tell you. I
I
don't
knew
think
John
I
Jones was no
literally
joke. The way he beat Rampage Jackson, man. Oh my god.
no the way he beat DC when
Oh
DC
yeah.
was talking all that shit. No, he beat the snot out of DC. He was like, man, all that shit you was talking. Okay, that man DC was getting thrown around the ring. I'm like, dog, I ain't never seen DC get thrown around like
I
that.
ain't never seen DC get slammed like that, kicked.
I'm like, this nigga DC getting thrown like a rag dog. I'm like, he is beating the shit out of. I'm like, DC, fight back, nigga. You ain't gonna fight all that shit you was talking. You ain't gonna fight back. That's all
Hey,
that man can do is put up his guards. That's all he can do.
what that brother DC told John Jones, man, I'm prepared to die, and that boy John Jones said, be prepared to do just that. I was like, that's what Jones do right there.
Right.
I
They were
brother
like, okay,
said, be
you about to
prepared
die in this
to do
ring.
just that.
You about to die in this ring. I'm prepared to die. Okay, prepared to do just that because you about to die in this ring.
Hey, that's cold blooded. I don't think Iran Ali said nothing
You
cold
have
like
you, you haven't heard DC say nothing negative about John Jones since then.
No, you haven't. But I'll say this, man. What you said is very true. There is nobody in boxing I could even think could even compare to like a John Jones because everybody can get beat. Let me ask you this real quick. Uh, what kind of style beats Tank Davis? You've been watching boxing a long time. What style beats Tank Davis?
A style that can hurt Tank Davis.
So you got to match the puncher with another hard hitter.
You gotta make Tank Davis respect you. You ain't gotta knock him out. You gotta hit him and it hurts him and make him respect you because Rolly got Tank Davis respect. Tank Davis was like that man can punch. He got his respect, but Rolly didn't have the boxing ability. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the IQ and the boxing ability to beat Tank Davis. So you got to be a fighter that can make Tank Davis respect you, and you can box on the same level with Tank Davis, and you have a similar ring IQ as Tank Davis. If you don't have all three of those, you won't have no chance against Tank Davis unless you land a lucky shot. That's the only chance you got is landing a lucky shot. But if
Hey,
that lucky shot never lands, 9 times 10 you gonna either go to sleep or you gonna lose.
Hey, D free. I was gonna say to answer BVO question too. You have to mix Rolly power, Shakur Stevenson skill set, and Devin Haney ranginess with a jab. And there you go. You got the fighter that give Tank the most problems or potentially beat him because you
At
got to be able to
first,
keep him
yeah,
at a distance with it too.
at first I thought Regis Prograis might be a fighter that can beat Tank Davis, but after what I saw with Regis Prograis in his last fight, Tank Davis gonna walk Regis into something. He gonna walk Regis into something. He don't have a chance against Tank Davis. He's gonna walk right into something just like everybody else does. Tank Davis gonna set you up, and you're gonna walk in because you're gonna think you having success with Tank Davis, and he's gonna walk you into a shot, and it's gonna be curtains. That's what he does for everybody. That's why I say I don't know if Shakur can beat Tank Davis. I don't know if Devin can beat Tank Davis. They have the boxing ability to be able to, but
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have the power to make Tank Davis respect you, I don't care how much boxing ability you got. Tank Davis is going to walk you down and he's going to catch you at some point.
I think it's funny what y'all saying is true, but I think y'all just described Floyd Mayweather. I mean, I don't think I don't think there's nobody out there that can do that because one thing about Shakur is Shakur ain't got enough power to really do nothing to Tank. I mean, I know once, and it's the thing. If it take you all that to knock out Yoshi from Mario, come on, man. Tank gonna feel that. He gonna start doing that AB stuff where they shake their head like this ain't nothing. And when they start
Mhm.
shaking that big head like it ain't nothing, bro, it's over with. It's
Yeah,
over.
because
Hey, BVO, I'm gonna say this in response to that. I hear what you're saying, but you gotta look at it from the perspective of anybody that got more than let's say they got 20 fights and 10 knockouts. They got knockout power. It's placement of punches and it's the punches you don't get hit with or you don't see, right? We know
Mhm,
Tank got a beard on him. Obviously, we all know that. But the
mhm.
question would be, hell, how many bee stings can you get hit with until you know what I'm saying, fall? Is death what? Death by 1,000 bee stings is the old saying. Hell,
Yeah.
people thought Floyd didn't have power, but you didn't see nobody trying to walk through it.
no,
No, I give you that. That's a fact. Nobody would dare do that to Floyd.
no,
even even Canelo. You know what's funny? People talk crazy, but even Canelo was getting back, man. He was getting back when it came to fighting Floyd. Like Floyd was teeing off on him, and nobody did nothing, man. What's
no. And
going on?
Floyd, and the thing is, Floyd was standing in the pocket. Floyd wasn't moving around the ring. He was standing in the pocket. He was just uh, Canelo just couldn't land a shot, and that's what Canelo said. He said, "I couldn't hit him. I couldn't hit him."
Bro, I literally just rewatched that fight last night, and Floyd was hitting him right, and Floyd was like throwing some different ones. You can tell some of them had some pop on it because Canelo's reaction to it. And I'm like, hold on, bro. You mean tell me Floyd was sitting down on that punch because he knew he could get out of the way of it? Like, bro, if you go back and rewatch that fight, man, he was piecing him, and then like to when obviously the parts where you thought Canelo landed, and you slow it down and see it again, it's like, nah, bro. He shoulder rolling, he picking him off, he parrying the punches and all that. I'm like, oh yeah, Floyd out here. Like he knew he caught him at the right time, but Canelo, hey, he went for it. I'll give him credit. But Floyd was, yeah, he was just CBE at that point, bro. It was like Jordan versus a rookie.
Yeah, that was Canelo. Canelo called out Floyd. It wasn't like Floyd was looking for
Yeah,
Canelo.
Floyd wasn't even thinking about him.
Right. Canelo called him out. He was like, "All right, you want to fight me? Beat Austin Trout, then I'll fight you next." He beat Austin Trout. Floyd said, "Okay." Let's go ahead and make this fight. He made the fight, and Floyd beat that man like he stole something.
And you remember that Floyd told Keith Thurman, "Go beat Errol Spence, then I'll fight you,"
He
and he
told
never did.
Sean Porter and Keith Thurman, and both of them said, "Nah, I'm not fighting no fucking Earl Spence. What the fuck is wrong with you? Y'all niggas crazy. You think I'm gonna go fight fucker that nigga that beat you up in the gym? I'm not fighting that nigga, dog.
He got
Fuck no."
nothing to do.
That was, and
What's
that's
going
when
on, Brian?
what's
How
going
you
on.
doing?
And that's when Floyd had got beat up by Earl Spence in the gym. That's why Floyd said, "Okay, y'all beat Earl Spence, then I'll fight you." And they was like, "Man, fuck no, I'm not fighting no fucking Earl
Oh, so
Spence."
that was wrong that Robert Guerrero fight, the
Yeah,
ghost fight.
yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't
yeah,
realize that was that. So they really could have got that fight.
yeah. They
Wow.
could have, they could have, because Floyd said it. He did it. He did the same thing that the Canelo. He said, "Okay, you beat Austin Trout, I'll fight you." He beat Austin Trout, and Floyd fought Canelo next. So they
You
could have
know,
got the Floyd fight if they would have beat Earl Spence, but they didn't want to fight Earl.
you know the funny thing about what you're saying though. At that it really is still the biggest win on Canelo's
Going
record,
on,
man.
Just Do It.
Austin Trout fight. People don't realize that that's really still Canelo's biggest win. What's going on, Prize?
Yo, salute to my brother BVO Boxing. Shout out D Free. My man, what's
What's
his
going
name?
on?
A1. Shout out to y'all brothers. It's good.
What's going on?
Hey man,
Yeah.
we ain't seen you in a while, man. But let me ask you this: how did you
Yeah.
think that Cool Boy was gonna beat anyway? What was you drinking that night?
Yeah,
Like,
I know we got a lot of catching up to do.
what was you
I
smoking?
mean,
Man? Was you smoking some
I was
K2?
wrong. I was wrong like everybody else was wrong. A lot of people was wrong about nobody saw that one coming. Shout out to in a way. He's pretty good, man. So, excited to see what that kid do next.
Pretty good.
I hear them trying to move him like come up there to fight Tank. He don't want to do that, but
No, no.
you
I mean,
know,
they talked about it like the first week, the first 2 weeks after the fight with Cool
yeah,
Boy. They haven't been talking about it since then. Niggas realized, okay,
yeah,
we about to move this man up three weight classes to fight Tank. No, I don't think that's good. And they know
yeah.
Tank ain't going to Japan. He got to come over here and fight Tank Davis where Tank Davis say fight at. So
It'll be more money over here too.
yeah, it's more money over here, but Tank Davis is the A side. I don't care
No, hey,
how many
no,
championship Cool Boy, anyway won. He ain't no A side of Tank Davis.
Nah.
hey, D Free, not to interrupt y'all. It'd be more money in Japan, unfortunately.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be more
They
money
gave
here.
Cool Boy $6 million, bro. What you talking
No,
about?
it's more money here.
They gave
The,
Cool
the,
Boy $6 million, man.
the money over there, it seemed like it's more because it's in their money, but when it transfer over to our money, it's much less. It's like 33 cent. It's like 33 cents to a dollar.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, because with the money that like even Lomachenko, his money is 33 cents to a dollar. So if Lomachenko make $1 million here, he makes 33 million in his. He translated over to his money. It's $33 million. It's the same thing in Japan. With the money that we make here, if you take it over to Japan and transfer it over, it's like 30. It's like 33% more.
Yeah, that's about to be over with sooner or later because our dollar ain't finna mean nothing in a minute. But I feel you.
Hey, I'll tell you this though. The thing that make me laugh is that people don't realize, man, boxing seeing a whole new renaissance. Man, you got guys like Teofimo Lopez, man, at 140, just won, coming off 2 lineal championships. And I think it's funny when we talk about Tio. I know he's going through all this stuff because he's half crazy, but I'm telling you, man, I think him and Devin Haney is going to be a huge fight at 140. I really do. Them two brothers at
I was
140, and
hearing
then
that. I was hearing that they was Tia was talking about fighting Terrence Crawford.
Oh, my bad. I was wrong. $1 in the US is 147.8. I mean $147.08 in Japanese yen.
damn.
$1.
Yeah, well, yen is about to be the number one currency because that deal they made with Russia, Saudi Arabia, and I forget another country.
No, it was
But
China, not
America,
China.
It was China. It
China.
wasn't Japan. It wasn't
Yeah,
Japan.
well,
It was China.
okay, well, China, they still use yen, don't they?
They
No.
use Japanese yen. Japan. You gotta remember, Japan is 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 pretty much part of the United States. We built Japan after we blew it up. We built it, so it's pretty much part of the United States. I mean, it's true. After we blew it up, we went over there and rebuilt it. So it's
Yeah,
it's
that's a
pretty much
fact.
pretty much part of the United States. It's not the United States, but it's a close friend of the United States.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Hey, but
shout out to Cool Boy for getting that money though, but in a way it was just way better. It is what it is.
it just let you know that in a way, it just let you know that Cool Boy was never the goods. He never
No,
is what we
no,
thought.
no. We don't. You still doing that? See, that's
Here
why
we
I'm
go.
back now. So you
So
can't do what you just did right there. I'm back now because
Here we
you're not
go.
doing that. He is the goods. He lost
no,
Free.
one fight.
Cool Boy the good. I mean, it's
He
just
lost one fight, and then BVO want to just throw him out the window, throw him in the
no,
trash can,
no.
get him out of there.
Cool Boy's the goods. The Cool Boy's the goods. He just wasn't better than in a way. That's all. That doesn't mean
Why he
he's not
fight
the
Fig?
goods.
Why he get Fig a rematch?
That's just like
Oh, oh.
if
Why he
Terrence.
get Fig a rematch?
But if Terrence Crawford go and fight Boots and Boots beat the snot out of Terrence Crawford, does that mean Terrence Crawford not the goods? No. It
Yes.
just means that Boots is better than Terrence Crawford. That's all. Doesn't mean he's not the goods. Just mean that Boots is better. That's all.
If you get
Right.
if you get
What
dismantled,
what
Free,
what Earl what Boots what Terrence Crawford did to Earl doesn't mean that Earl is not the goods. It just means Terrence Crawford was better than him. That's all.
that Earl that we seen, and I don't know what happened,
Regardless of
but
what
that Earl we
Earl, regardless of what Earl it is, I'm just saying. In Bud beat Earl, that doesn't mean that Earl is not the goods. It just means Bud was better than him on that night. He was better than him on that night. Anyway, was better than Cool Boy. It doesn't mean that Cool Boy's not the goods. It just means he wasn't better than Anyway on that night. That's one
I
fight.
mean,
That doesn't
Yeah.
make up
I
your
think
whole
I think the
career.
thing that y'all missing is when somebody dismantles you, you
No.
not who we thought you were. It's a
So
fact.
so so
But
so
Sugar
Muhammad
Ray
Ali,
Leonard, Sugar Ray
Muhammad Ali
Leonard
wasn't the goods
dismantled
neither
Hitman Hearn.
when he got destroyed against motherfucking Frazier. Muhammad Ali wasn't the goods.
Huh?
Muhammad Ali wasn't the good when he got destroyed against Frazier in the
He
first
didn't
fight.
train for that fight.
I didn't ask you what he did. I said was
I'm
he
telling you
not
what he
the
said.
goods? You said he didn't train for the fight. That's your opinion. We
No,
don't
that's
know.
what Muhammad Ali said. Muhammad Ali said that.
Muhammad Ali. So Muhammad Ali just said, "Okay, I'm gonna sit on the couch until fight night, and then I'm gonna go fight him." No,
No, he was having a
He
he
trained. He
was
just
having
didn't
a
train.
hard time. He was having a hard time getting his weight together when he was off for 3 years.
So he trained. He just didn't train well enough. He trained. He just didn't train well enough because the second fight he came in there and he beat Joe Frazier. He beat the snot out of Joe Frazier in the second fight. He just wasn't that good that night. That's all.
I mean,
It's
I
one
get what
fight.
y'all saying, but Cool Boy was talking all this mess, arguably lost to Fig, and then goes to China and get his head beat off, pause, by Inouye. And Inouye got his face broke by Donier. What are you talking about?
But Cool Boy is not a puncher. Cool Boy is not a puncher.
I'm
Cool Boy literally got two knockouts in all the fights that he got. He literally only has two knockouts. Literally, he only has two. That's not
that
no
boy.
exaggeration or anything. That's actual fact. He only
He
has
said that
two
brother got
knockouts.
2 knockouts.
No, go look at Cool Boy's record. He only has two knockouts. That's not no makeup, nothing. That's actual facts. He only has two.
I didn't know he only had 2 knockouts,
Yes,
but
he only has two. He only has
I,
two.
I'll say this. I'll say this in response to my brother Prize, man. Prize talks a good game, but it's the same dude who don't give no Mexican fighters any credit. Same thing like my brother D Free, man. Because y'all talk about all these fighters, right? Your boy Frank's the Duck, another Mexican come fight the Puerto Rican, but I still ain't heard y'all say nothing about the fact that this dude Frank Martin let a Puerto Rican chase him down the street like this.
Dog,
This is
you
crazy.
you was the one that said that Frank Martin was
Cool
going to
Boy
was going
Steph
to knock
has
out.
8 knockouts. He has 8 knockouts, not two.
I thought it was two. I thought he only had two
Nah,
knockouts.
he got 8.
He still ain't no puncher.
He must have knocked out the valet or something, bro.
He still ain't no puncher. I thought he only had two. I must have been looking at something else then.
Hey, but what I'm saying is this: y'all don't talk about how like all the fighters y'all talk about get ran down on, and they don't do nothing, man.
No,
Like
I just said you was the one that said Frank Martin was going to stop Shakur. I said that I'm saying Shakur was going to win. I was rooting for Frank Martin, but I said Shakur was going to win. You said Frank Martin was going to stop Shakur.
I thought he would stop Shakur, but he ran. I mean, I can't know about him running. All I seen was his head. He was running like Carl Lewis, man. That's the thing. That you
So
but
how you gonna say we when I was the one that said that Shakur was gonna
no,
win the
what I'm
fight?
saying is y'all don't realize that the Mexican style kung fu fighters are the only fighters that got the nuts to take the tough fights. That's kind of how it works in boxing.
No, it's
These are
not.
the only guys that take the tough fight. Everybody else
No,
just be
no, it's
trying to
not.
get the easy way, the
No,
easy
it's not.
route.
Like who?
No,
Who is
that's
everybody
not
else?
true.
Who's
That's not
everybody
true.
else, BVO?
That's not true. 'Cause I'm gonna tell you why that's not true. Because Shakur wanted to fight Pitbull and Pitbull ran.
Pitbull's too small to fight Shakur, man.
No, Pitbull said
Nah.
the reason why he ain't fight Shakur because Shakur is going to run in the ring, and Shakur don't even fight like that. That's why he didn't fight Pitbull. He said it's like a cat chasing a mouse.
Well,
Shakur,
Shakur is hard to
Shakur
hit.
Stevenson would have dominated Isaac Cruz or Isak Isaac, whatever his name is. I ain't calling him Pitbull because he done ran from like a couple fights. So
He didn't ran for a couple fights.
he's a Chihuahua to me.
But the
Shakur
same
would dog
Chihuahua
him.
gave Tank his best fight. So that's
Tank, man, well, Tank beat that boy with one hand, man. Get that boy out of here.
I think he did too, but that's still Tank's toughest fight is against a 5'2" miniature guy named Isak Cruz.
I don't think that was Tank's toughest fight.
Who was his toughest fight?
I think Yo-Yo's Gamboa was his toughest fight.
I think that was a good one. I mean, Tank just was off. I think he was just so much like more so off that night than it was like it was pretty tough, but I think Leo Santa Cruz was hitting him pretty good too, but
Leo
you
Santa
could argue.
Cruz, Leo was hitting him because Tank was allowing him. He knew Leo couldn't hurt him. He was just
Yeah.
walking Leo down. He knew Leo couldn't hurt him. He was just walking him down, waiting to catch him with a good shot. But the Yo-Yo's Gamboa fight, I think that was his toughest fight because he couldn't get Yo-Yo's Gamboa out of there. He was trying to get him out. He couldn't get him out. It wasn't until the 12th round he finally got him out of there. I think that was his toughest fight. Now, the Pitbull Cruz, he had an injury. So I don't say that was his toughest fight. That was his most effective fight because we saw Tank Davis' boxing ability in that fight. But the Yo-Yo's Gamboa, it wasn't nothing wrong with Tank Davis. He just couldn't find a way to get him out of there until the 12th round. Because he had dropped Gamboa multiple times in that fight. He just couldn't get him out. It wasn't until the 12th round he finally got him out of there. And Yo-Yo's Gamboa tore his Achilles in that fight.
You know the funny thing about Freeman is
You don't know shit about boxing.
R.I.P. the Black Mamba, man. Hey, but we're gonna be back this weekend. We got a top rank card, nice top rank card we're gonna be watching, and we got the football show coming up. I lost my first game. D Freak jinxed me. I don't know how I lost my first game, but I got jinxed.
You didn't lose. You broke even. You 4-4.
No, I'm talking about on our fantasy.
Oh
On
yeah.
on our
I didn't
fantasy.
jinx you. You got a terrible squad.
You got a terrible squad. Hey, but we're gonna be back, man. And shout out to my brother Prize Fighter, man.
Yeah,
AK the Invisible Man. We're gonna get this brother back working, man. Me and P
yeah.
gonna play
I
back.
had a lot of things going on. Behind the scenes. I told you, what's going on.
Hey,
But
and you know what?
yeah,
Shout out to my brother A1, man, aka Elmo, aka the Muppet Man, aka Ernie from Sesame Street. And we gone. It's BVO Boxing.
uh,
yeah.
Roll with the punches. We out here.